Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the British Esports podcast here at Insomnia. We're joined once again by someone different. This time it's Emzii. Emzii, thank you so much for coming on with us today.
No, thanks for having me.
How have you
Thanks for bringing me
enjoyed
over as well.
Insomnia so far? How have you found it?
That was amazing. Like, Friday was hectic with the panel and a couple of interviews, and then Saturday I just ran around causing chaos, and today it's a bit more chilled.
Nice. So for those people who may not know who you are, do you want to just kind of introduce yourself and tell people a little bit more about what it is that you do?
Yeah, so I'm Emzii, I'm a Rose. I'm a Northern Ireland esports competitor. I won the gold medal for eFootball at the Commonwealth, and I'm pretty much trying to cause as much chaos as I can in the esports world to raise inclusion, diversity, LGBT matters, more women in gaming. Pretty much anything that I can do to cause chaos and upset the scene, I'm going to try and do.
Perfect.
So, I know we've discussed this before, but how did you get started in esports?
I replied to an Instagram ad. That's it. I was just sitting playing, I think I was playing TFT one night, and my friend sent me an Instagram post saying, like, looking for female gamers in Northern Ireland, and I was like, okay, I tick those boxes, I can do that, but obviously it's Northern Ireland, so I was like, my first question was, I'm trans, so is that okay? Because Northern Ireland. And they're like, yeah, of course. Sign up and we'll be in touch. So I signed up, and then they're like, I applied for Rocket League, and they're like, do you have a team? And I was like, no. And they're like, okay, can you play eFootball? And I was like FIFA. And they're like, no, Pro Evo. And I was like, yeah, I've heard of Pro Evo. I haven't played it, but I know I play FIFA and I know what football is. So I said, yes, I'll play. And then next thing I knew, I was in Birmingham winning.
Yeah,
That's my month in a nutshell.
Yeah, gosh, hectic month then.
Yeah, I know, right?
So talk a bit about your time at the CEC then. How did you find the tournament as a whole and the experience as a whole? How was it for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. Life-changing, to be honest. Like, it's one of the best things I've ever done. The opportunities that came out the other end of it are insane. Like, I'm sitting here now at Insomnia, which is somewhere I've always wanted to go and never had the opportunity to go to. I think all the steps that the GAF and British Esports did to make sure everyone felt welcome and involved and most importantly safe was fantastic. And then it's just sad that once it left our bubble and went outside of our esports world, that's where all the toxicity came in and things like that. But you got to shine a light on it, you got to educate it, and if we just turn the comments off and we just let them have nothing, then we're losing the interaction from people who want to be involved and want help, and we're letting them win. So you got to take the comments and move on. But overall, the competition was amazing. Everything ran pretty well for the first time. There was a few hiccups, but like that's to be expected for the first time of any real tournament. And yeah, like honestly, it was more than I ever expected.
So, having sort of been thrown in the deep end a little bit then with a new title and going from not playing much to winning, as you said, like how would you advise someone go about in eFootball, FIFA, go about improving their gameplay?
And well, for me, it was my coach. So like I had a very seasoned coach. I had Richie he plays for Ireland. You know, he was in Singapore at the Euros, and it was wherever the Euros was before that, he was there as well. So like honestly, I was just recording game footage and sending it off to him, and he was analysing it, sending me back notes, and like just telling me what I should have done and what I did good and what I did better. But for me to improve, you just got to keep playing, but play with someone who's better than you, because that's the only way to learn. Enter competitions, because with the competition, like atmosphere and scenarios are a lot different than sitting playing in your room with no consequences really. But definitely try and join a team, get yourself a coach is the best thing. Like my skills levels went from like I'm going to Birmingham to be laughed at to like I might actually have a chance of competing here, all because of my coach.
Yes. So I think it'd be remiss of us to not talk about your thoughts on like inclusivity and diversity and stuff, having you on the podcast here. So in terms of esports and how you've seen it from your perspective, do you think we're in a good spot in terms of being inclusive and being welcoming to people everywhere, or do you think there's still stuff that needs to be done? How is that fitting in your mind at the minute?
I think we're definitely in a better place than we were, which is positive. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's still there's still that awful stigma that it's a boys' club and it's just guys in their parents' basements playing games, when really it's not. It's just look around. It's, there's so much more than just gamers, and I think that's the important thing as well. Is it's not just about people playing games. It's all the opportunities that come around that, all the jobs that are created around that. But for sure, like, there's definitely not enough women-focused content. There's not enough LGBT representation and under marginalized genders. There's a lot that needs changed and a lot that needs done, but I think we're on the right path. We just have to keep pushing. It's going to take time, sadly. But that's like all things. Like, esports is relatively new, especially in the UK. It may have been around for years. So like, I followed 1.6 for CS, and that's showing my age. And like, esports has been there for me since then. But it's now finally getting to that sort of like precipice where it's pushing over into mainstream. And ideally, once we go mainstream, we want to have a good mix and a good balance of male to female. And like, I don't know, I just think we have to keep doing more and keep putting on like more women's events and more mixed teams, and just getting as many people from as many different walks of life involved as we can, because everyone plays games, whether it's on your phone or on a console or on a PC. It doesn't matter what it is. The accessibility of gaming is literally for everyone, and that's how it should be projected as well, rather than just the same people doing the same like stuff all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our final sort of big question for you then is, someone who's potentially looking at getting into esports, whether that be a player or just in one of the many roles in the industry, what advice would you give them?
Do it. Simply, like, don't be afraid to take that risk. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Use them as a learning experience. If you're lucky enough now that you're younger, there's loads of colleges that do esports courses. Really happy that's coming through, but also slightly annoyed because I was like, where's that when I was at uni? Like, I would have loved to have done something like that. But for sure, there's so many courses you can do online. There's so many businesses now that are involved in esports. There's so many ways in. So just like, if you want to be involved as gaming, enter as many competitions as you can. Try and get a team. Sign up to everything and anything. The worst anyone can do is either say no or simply not reply. But eventually, you will get a yes, and someone will talk to you about something. And if you want to go into like, the video side of things, content creating, the podcasting, literally any other aspect of it, the platform is here. It's growing massively. Just like, put yourself out there. If you want to be a caster, just put videos on YouTube of you casting, and like reach out to Twitch streamers and like your national teams like Esports England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Like, they are always looking for people, grassroots, to come in for their streams and like cast over all their games and stuff. So there's plenty of opportunities out there. You just need to be willing to put yourself forward and plunge into the deep end, really.
Yeah, fantastic.
Saul has magically transformed into Billy.
Yes, hello.
Our lovely Women in Esports manager. So we are still here with Emzii, and Emzii's going to answer some more in-depth questions about women and inclusivity in the industry. So we touched on it a little bit earlier, but do you feel that women and marginalised genders are represented well enough in the esports industry?
Not well enough, no. It's definitely better, as I said earlier. It's definitely better than it was, but it's still a long way to go. Like, it's still massively male-dominated, and that needs to change. Simple as that. Not because there's anything wrong with the guys, just because there's just as many of us girls that want to take part and want to get out there, that it only makes sense to have a more even split.
And I'm hoping you'll say your very memorable quote again when I ask you this one, but what are your thoughts on having sort of segregated female and male tournaments?
Is this a thumbs quote? Somebody actually said that to me again recently, and I was like, that's my quote? How dare you use that?
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to have a split men's league and women's league eventually, but at the minute, just because of sheer numbers, because there's so many more guys in the esports space and easier accepted. I think guys are easier accepted into the esports space, that in sheer numbers it doesn't make sense to have a men's league with mixed in it, because you'd only be showcasing the top of the top talent for females. So like, I think having a women's and a female division is just a means to an end, so you can showcase so much more female talent. But as I said before, thumbs are thumbs. It doesn't matter. Like, look at this. It's good. Everyone's is the same except for Megan Fox's, because her thumbs are different.
I guess that kind of leads us well on to our next question, which would be, What do you think needs to change in the industry to make it more inclusive?
It just needs time. It just needs people like yourselves to keep pushing, keep including women, keep including under marginalized genders, keep like making us feel welcome and safe, and having like having that visibility will already inspire other people to come through and the next generation to come through, because they'll see people like who's doing it and be like, well, maybe I can do that too. I think that's the key thing, is just to keep putting that visibility out there. But the main thing is just going to be time and patience, really, because one by one we'll slowly change people's ideas and opinions, and we'll eventually get to that point where there is more than enough female talent that will then obviously override all the boys' talents, and then they'll be like, well, there's too many girls in the league now, we can't get a win. And it's like, well, that's your fault for sucking.
And why do you think initiatives like women in esports are important in the industry?
It's hugely important. Like, without you guys, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I know, like, there's so many people I've met and I've spoke to about it, and they really like love what you guys do, all the content you put out, and they really want to get involved with it as much as they can. So like, I think you should probably one of the first platforms, if not the only platform in the UK, that actually really focus on women in esports and in the gaming industry, because that's what it needs. It just needs that champion headline sort of, this is where we will promote you, and we will like do everything we can to make sure you're included, you're involved, you feel safe, you feel welcome, and just accepted, I think, is one of the most important things. And like, without women in esports, none of that would be, you know, it would still just be a boys' club. Like, at the end, like, that's how important the work you guys do is. It's just incredible.
We could do the titles game again.
I don't mind. No, yeah, let's do 10, because I want to beat 10.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to beat
Okay.
10.
12 is still the record.
Okay.
I will get a timer.
I'm going to beat.
Alright, I'll keep count.
I'll practice.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
COD, Battlefield, Halo, Smash Bros, Rocket League, Dota, League of Legends, Apex, Fortnite, eFootball, FIFA, Counter-Strike, and...
Time.
12!
12. Okay, match the record though.
Improved.
That's good.
You are now tying for first place.
Yes.
And what
I'm
we'll
mad.
do,
What was on my tongue? There's going to be another one.
another
Another
shot
drawing.
at our lovely drawing challenge. So same as yesterday, you've got 30 seconds to work your artistic powers on the whiteboard. So any game character.
Anything you like.
Are you ready?
I think it's someone different to draw.
Yeah.
Cool, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I feel like we need countdown
Yeah.
music, because that's 30 seconds.
We'll get some. I'll find some royalty-free countdown music that ain't gonna get us copyright strikes.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, incorporating the rubber
Oh,
with 5 seconds to go. Is it wise? We'll find out.
2, 1, time. Pac-Man!
It went from something so intricate to
What
Pac-Man.
were you doing before?
Draw Crocs from Legends of the Goba.
Oh.
And then I just messed his face up and I couldn't remember how it went, and I was like, oh no, what did I do?
And stopped it for Pac-Man instead. Fair.
Panic Pac-Man.
Well, Emzii, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's
Thank
been
you
a
very
pleasure
much
to have
for
you
having
on.
me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone who's taken part today, and for everyone who's watched. We very much appreciate it. If you'd like to see more of this content, then you will certainly be able to, because there's plenty more on the way. But don't forget to also like and subscribe to the channel, because that's how you'll be able to find it when it comes up. Thank you once again, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye.